This is the real start of the show. I feel like the last few hours have been a little bit emotional because of all the stuff that we've talked about.
It's been pretty crazy.
I feel like your energy is a little drained from how emotional all this stuff. It's a little deep. We've been getting into some deep stuff today, or we will be. It's a Pot Smoking Moms podcast. So if you're here, welcome, welcome. We're so glad you've joined us. My name is Sunny D, and this is my co-host and homegirl, Captain J.
Hello.
Hey, if you listen to the podcast and you enjoy us, please rate, subscribe, put a little review, share with your friends, and be friends with us on all social medias. We have lots of social media platforms we're on. We talk a little bit later about how overwhelming that could be.
Yep.
But potsmokingmoms.com is the website if, you want to know more about us and you don't. What are we smoking today?
I got a bowl packed here, my little bong of some Purple Crip by Sunshine Cannabis.
Oh, nice. And I have my Grape Goddess from Rise.
I like the name just because it reminds me of when I first started smoking
El
weed.
Creepy.
The Crippy.
That's the only way we would, the Regos and the Crippy. That's how we would, tell what from what. And I'm sure there's people out there who still do it that way.
I haven't heard anybody say the word Crippy again.
In such a long time. We're such refined tastes now as adults. Go ahead if you want to hit your bowl, ladies or daddies, poppies.
I think Crippy is like a South thing.
I think so too. Not everybody says Crippy. They got other things.
Said Crippy in the 90s.
Or said Crippy. It's mostly a 90s thing, probably.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really uses that anymore.
Now
Just
it's
like
that
I don't
loud gas and loud and all that stuff.
Whatever other slang you want to,
Weed.
Hit us up. What kind of slang have you heard that we don't? Because,
What's your favorite slang word?
What's your
weed?
favorite? I love saying weed. I think weed's my favorite word just because it's so easy. It's to the point. Pot has I know pot is in our name, but pot has an old 70s connotation. I think pot is super kind of 70s, no? To refer to it as pot?
I think so. That's what our parents probably called it.
Right. Well, we have an event coming up. If you haven't heard us talk about it yet, 710 Dab Day. 710 stands for oil, which is what most concentrates are considered.
It's at Fundamental.
Are we going to do
Miami.
dabs? Are we going to actually do dabs there?
I have no idea what to expect from this event. From what I've seen before, I think I've seen people consuming at these events, but I don't know for sure. But it's at this place in Miami, this Fun Dimension. I looked it up. It's
like a game place.
Yeah, so I guess it's rented out for a private party.
Yeah.
But they have bumper cars and video games.
That's
and
fun. I hope we get to do
tag.
some of that stuff.
We'll see.
We got one of our
We should make it
patrons, one of our listeners.
One of our homies, one of our...
Well, actually, we have local patrons and listeners who might meet us out at 710 Dab Day.
Yeah?
Yeah, but there's
Yanni said
other
she's going?
people who are flying in from other places. I feel so
Special?
honored. I feel so special. Yeah, to go have fun with us over at 710 Dab Day. So if you're in Miami area, July 10th, you go to 710 Dab Day. They have an Instagram page. You can pretty much Google them up and find their Eventbrite with the tickets. Yeah.
Come play with us.
Come play with us. Come dab with us. I have a feeling we'll be dabbing.
Do we have to dab? It is 7:10. We should be doing a dab.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. Celebrate.
Celebrate.
I would feel more comfortable if somebody was running the dab rig for me. I could think that's the most thing. That's the part about it I don't like the most is having to do all that shit.
I think if we are doing dabs there, they're probably gonna do that.
Right.
Heat the nail for you.
Exactly. And then we bring our mouthpiece.
Any chance of you burning yourself.
Right, but then what? Hygienically, oh, We read an
We
article
have to bring our
recently.
mouthpiece.
We have to bring our mouthpiece.
with our little lanyards.
Oh my God. I don't know about the lanyard.
It'll be easier than having it in your hand.
I guess, but then it's picking up all the germs around. I have to have it in a little satchel. Don't you got to put it in a little satchel? I don't want all the germs to fly around in the air atmosphere and jump onto the fucking...
If it's flying in the air in the
that's
atmosphere,
true.
it's not going to make a difference.
Right. You're right.
Okay,
Right. It's just-
we're already fucked.
Yeah, saying that out loud made my brain get it. Hey guys, stay tuned and see if we dab at Dab Day.
Come dab with us,
or come,
or not.
or come dab with us. We do need to also tell you that on Wednesdays, we not only do you get a new delicious episode of Pot Smoking Moms podcast,
Or you could get it sooner if you're a patron.
if you're a patron, you might get it before we record it. I mean, I'm telling you, you got to go pay to be a patron, but you might be surprised at what you get. You might find something in your mailbox one day. And not in a creepy way. That sounded like weird. I take that back. But not only do you get an episode on Wednesdays, but we do go live at 9 p.m. on Instagram, 9 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to
Come sesh with us.
come sesh with us, talk some shit in real time, Instagram live at 9 p.m. Eastern, Wednesdays.
We're there.
We're there. Be there. We're there. Be
The fair?
there. No, the fair, but I'm changing
The
it.
fair.
So we got a fun interview today. I'm pretty sure everybody that follows
Everybody
us
knows who
follows
the Mommy Jane is.
Yeah,
Everybody
I
knows
know.
who the Mommy Jane
I'm
is.
like, Shirley, it's funny. I love when we do interviews and then somebody pops up in the comment and says, I was waiting for this one.
I was waiting for this one.
Yeah. It's so funny. It's like, oh, okay. You guys, all right. Cool.
If you have suggestions for guests, we're always willing to take them. Hit us up.
For sure. People have even found a TikTok of someone randomly and them talking about an endeavor, and we've had them on the show before. So, you know, the sky's the limit. There's no limit to how high we're getting. No, we're also going to put we're going to make it easier for people to apply to submit to be a guest.
Yeah.
Not saying that everyone's going to get a chance to be on the show because it really depends. And, you know, it's, I don't think we're going to get that much of an overwhelming response, but
somewhere we can direct people when they ask.
But we will put an area on our website.
A little link.
We're working on it for you guys to submit. I know some people have really interesting stories. A lot of the moms that we talk to on a regular basis do have really interesting stories. And a lot of them want to share it just in case there's other moms who maybe are going through the same thing they're going through. So, and even dads, we had a dad hit us up like, hey, can I be on the show? And I'm like, oh, all right, cool. So stay tuned for some updates on our website. And stay tuned for the Mommy Jane. We have a fun interview with her. We talk about things, you know, mental health and important things, social media and mental health, which is like, oh my God. Yeah, it gets heavy. It's been a day, but it gets heavy.
Emotional day.
Mm-hmm. Also,
Speaking of emotional,
right? Britney Spears'
Free
whole
Britney, my God.
testimony. We just sat here listening to it. We wanted to pick pieces, but
we've talked about this before last season. The whole conspiracy behind
the
it,
whole-
and then we talked about it again when they did
The
the whole
documentary.
documentary about it.
yeah.
And you know, before Britney really wasn't like speaking up or saying anything, but she sure as hell spoke up now.
Oh my God, yes. People were like, wow, we finally hear what her voice sounds like.
And oh my God, it was intense to hear. And
It
listen
was.
to.
And you can hear all of the fear and all of the nerves and all of the anxiety
Anger.
and trauma in her voice. Like
Fed
you can
up.
hear. Yeah, she is done over it. She was even like, oh, I'm going to sue my family.
Yeah, she should definitely sue her entire family. And then at the beginning, when the lawyers even tried to block her testimony from being public, they're like, oh, we don't think it should be public because she may talk about medical privacy stuff and that should not be public. And she's like, you guys made my life public and taking advantage of me. I think this needs to be.
Yeah, like that's no fair.
Yeah.
You've made me, you've made a total mockery out of me.
Thank God she stood up and said something.
Yes, thank God.
Because we all needed to hear that. And I think now that that's out there, the state of California is gonna have to do something because everybody is on her side.
Are you kidding
The public
me?
is on her side.
Yeah, and she was like, and girl, this is the tip of the iceberg. She's like, I have so much to tell you
Yeah.
because they have fucked me too long and I have got to be free of, I mean, just speaking it into the world so people know.
She needs to be free. This is just the fact that it's even gone this long is insane.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's insane because I think if you remember when we were on TikTok going, what is these TikTok videos she's making? Like the one that we thought was kind of insane of her like jumping into frame
With
and
the flowers
popping out.
coming in and
With
out.
the flowers
walking
coming
back
in and out.
forth.
Right. And then her looking kind of, her eyes were over glazed
She
over.
was drunk on lithium.
Yeah, she was talking about how they had put her on lithium just because they wanted a choreography a certain way, and she diverted a little bit off of the choreography to want to do something. She didn't want to do
a certain dance move.
a certain dance thing.
She said no.
Right, and then they took that as insubordination, and then they completely changed her drugs, her prescription
her management
schedule.
and the people that like manage her were in cahoots with her therapist,
Right, because they're
and her
getting
doctor,
buku dinero.
and they would be like, "Hey, doctor, she's not cooperating and she's not taking her meds," which she said is not true. That she was taking her meds every
Right.
morning. The same woman gave them to her every day,
yeah,
and they were making up lies to then put her on lithium, which
Right.
totally, I mean, can fuck you up.
yeah, that's no joke. That's definitely no joke.
And then the whole thing about all the nurses, when she started the lithium, they had to be there 24/7. She had absolutely no privacy. She had 6 nurses there at all times.
Right.
She couldn't even like change her clothes, do anything on her own. That's
Yeah, and she has no control over anything at all. She can't even hang out with her friends.
She can't see her friends.
To me, it was so interesting to hear a simple request of her wanting to let her boyfriend drive her in his own car, and she can't do that. Let alone then here leading up to having her with the IUD, them controlling her and not being able to have kids or get
Yeah.
married.
She wants to get married and have kids, and they're like keeping her from that. That's so sad. This needs to be over. There's no way after this testimony, the state of California can continue to allow this to happen.
Yeah, some shit is definitely about to go down.
And this may even change like
Disability rights.
the way conservatorship laws are.
Yeah, for sure.
If
somebody made a really good, interesting point, and they were like, there's so many male celebrities who have lost have gone absolute cuckoo bananas. Kanye West, for example, Charlie Sheen, for example. Have any of those motherfuckers been under some sort of conservatorship?
Nope.
It's all about controlling women.
Always.
So it's really interesting because the only other conservatorship that I'm familiar with is Amanda Bynes, because she's another one that I always I don't know, I'm always trying to find out what's up with her, because I think she is another one that's like one of those just one of those celebrities that has been through a lot of shit. And she's talking about all the trauma who knows all the shit she can talk about, what they've put her through.
And that's another reason why they want entire career.
Right.
They don't want any of that to get out.
I feel like, do you remember when she was doing this TV reality show with Kevin Federline where they were like following them around? Do you remember?
I knew that they had it, but I never saw the show.
You never
or
watched
anything.
it?
Never, ever. I never saw any little piece of it.
Like you could tell she was like very kind of like a naive Southern girl. Like she
started working as a child.
Yeah. She was saying she's been working since she was 17, but it was like on Disney Channel. Wasn't she even younger than that?
Yeah, definitely. She was younger than that.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe she means like
as
on
Britney
her own,
Spears,
as a brand.
Right.
Because that's when she released her album and all that.
Right. And her, yeah. Yeah. It's just like she had a lot to talk about. Oh my God. And then you know what the crazy thing is I saw TikToks of people going into Jamie Spears's Instagram, and all of her comments are turned off, and the one girl was just scrolling. It was just a green screen of video of her scrolling through it going, why your comments turned off, Jamie? Why your comments turned off, Jamie? Huh? You scared of something?
That whole family better be afraid.
Oh, she literally said, I should sue my family, to be quite honest. She said that.
Yeah. Even though they don't have no money, their money is her money.
And then she talked about how they didn't do shit for her. Nobody's done anything
helped
for
her. They've just let this happen to her. Even her mother.
Yeah, it must be really hard to be. That's why I've always thought the celebrity life is not as like glamorous as it seems. It seems like just a lot of work. To me, it seems just so. You constantly have to be this person and be at the mercy of other people. And, I was talking to you earlier where it's like some celebrities are like considered assholes and stuff because they don't want to look at people in the face or whatever. They have certain things in their contracts. But a lot of these people constantly have people in their face because imagine you're somebody who everybody knows. You don't know everybody, but everybody knows you. So they think they're free to fucking talk to you like they know you.
Has to be so frustrating.
I bet it's crazy. And sometimes there are moments where you don't want to be an asshole. But what happens when you don't want to talk to somebody and you tell them no and now suddenly you're the dick? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like it's multifaceted.
And a lot of these people didn't choose this. Like, yeah, I'm sure she was a child and she was like, yeah, I'd like to be a star. But like, they were kids.
Right. They didn't know what this was really going to turn into. And she didn't think this is what it was going to turn into.
And her parents did not want to lose all the control they had once she became of age and could have her own life and use her money.
Yeah, she said the only reason her dad is involved is because of the conservatorship. Because if not, he would not play a role in her life.
He was never involved before.
Never involved.
It's just crazy. A whole fucked up situation. They got to fix it. State of California, fix that shit. Set her free.
Yeah, free Britney Spears.
Fucking A.
It's the segment everybody loves. Captain J is switching it up today.
I'm always yellow, bro.
I know, but I can't keep track of it. But you start most of all the stories you start. That's why I had to check it, and then my brain fart. Rhode Island House Speaker says marijuana legalization can't be rushed after Senate vote. He's like, hold up.
Chill. They're like, the Senate said it's all right, but we didn't say it yet.
Yeah. Chill out, guys. The Rhode Island Senate might have passed a bill to legalize marijuana this week, but the top House lawmaker says his chamber needs more time to resolve differences between competing reform proposals. Slow down. In an interview with the Boston Globe that was published on Thursday, House Speaker Joseph Shekarchi was asked whether Rhode Island can afford to wait on legalization in light of cannabis-related developments in surrounding states like Connecticut and Massachusetts.
Oh, they should know.
He says, yes, absolutely we can, and we should wait. Because all the proposals are very divergent, he said, referring to the Senate bill. A separate House one, and another measure filled by the governor. All of the proposals I've seen, in my opinion, and I've only scratched the surface of them because there's so many of them.
Exactly.
Really come from very strong advocates for either the cultivators or the dispensaries. I have to look at that and what's good for the state. If we're going to legalize recreational use of marijuana, we want to make sure the state gets its fair share.
Like they're trying so hard to make it legal there. They have multiple proposals for it.
For like
and one has been passed already in the Senate, but the House is like, hey, but we still have all these other proposals. Like we really got to look at all this shit.
It's like, hey guys, we might have some more better options here.
Shekarchi said there are several issues that need to be addressed before adult use legalization advances in the House. Principally, he said lawmakers must closely examine how much revenue the state could collect under the diverging proposals. Social equity, licensing fees, labor agreements, and home grow provisions are among the matters that still need to be settled before the Speaker is comfortable moving a given reform bill, he said. If we're going to legalize this, does that mean that people who are in prison and convicted of marijuana possession should be having an automatic review of possible expungement? If we're creating a whole new industry here, do we set aside one or two of these licenses for people in the minority community, he said? Those are the issues that we need to look at regarding marijuana. But the chief, most important issue is we want to make sure the state gets its fair share.
Oh, yeah.
If we can strike a deal, then we won't. He said, I think you come back when you have productive things to do.
Ay, this guy sounds like tremendo paquete. The new comments come just days after the state Senate approved the legalization bill from Senate Majority Leader Michael McCaffrey and Health and Human Services Chairman Joshua Miller, which they introduced in March. Governor Dan McKee also came out with his own legalization proposal shortly thereafter. Oh, suddenly everybody wants to fucking figure it out. Everybody wants to figure it out. Oh, I know. We could do better. Oh, I got an idea.
Slowing down the process here, though.
Yeah, it just feels like a one big clown show now. It's important that we act expeditiously to enact a regulatory framework, Miller said. I don't know why this is his new voice. Noting policy changes in states like Connecticut, where the state's governor signed the legalization bill into law on Tuesday. A third Rhode Island legalization measure was also filed on the House side by Representative Scott Slater and several co-sponsors. The governor, for his part, told reporters this week that while he backs legalization, it is not like one of my highest priorities.
Of course.
Adding that we're not in a race with Connecticut or Massachusetts on this issue until he really knows how much money he's losing. I think we need to get it right, he said, pointing to ongoing discussions with the House and Senate. The House Finance Committee discussed the governor's proposal to end prohibition at a hearing in April.
All right. So the House Speaker said recently that he views legalization as inevitable, but he told Politico that there are many pressing matters before us, and he's not sure if the chamber will have the time to consider the cannabis measure. Both the governor and the leader's legalization plans are notably different than the proposal from the former governor, Gina Raimondo, that she included in her budget last year. Prior to leaving office to join the Biden administration as Commerce Secretary, she called for legalization through a state-run model. McKee gave initial insights into his perspective on the reform in January, saying that it's time that legalization happens and that he's more leaning towards an entrepreneurial strategy there to let that roll that way. Shekarchi, meanwhile, has said he's absolutely open to the idea of cannabis legalization and also leans towards privatization.
Late last year, the Senate Finance Committee began preliminary consideration of legalization in preparation for the 2021 session, with lawmakers generally accepting the reform as inevitability. I certainly do think we'll act on the issue, whether it's more private or more state, Senator Ryan Pearson, who now serves as the panel's chairman, said at the time. Meanwhile, the Rhode Island Senate approved a bill in March that would allow safe consumption sites where people could use illicit drugs under medical supervision and receive resources to enter treatment. Harm reduction advocates say this would prevent overdose deaths and help destigmatize substance misuse. Which would ultimately, that's a great idea because it would end in more positive outcomes from...
Yeah, so it seems like everybody wanted to have legalization happen this year, and they all filed different proposals. And now only one's gone through Senate, and the House isn't ready to rush that through without looking at everything. That's what I got from that.
Right, but look at all the programs, take the best ideas from all of them and incorporate them. This guy's like, I am in no rush. He just doesn't even know how much money he's missing. Yeah, the state takes a fair cut. It's like, oh, we're not going to figure it out until we figure out how it could be the most profitable for us. Yeah. Ultimately, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. So I thought this article was interesting. Insider says why experts say there's no difference between indica and sativa anymore.
And that's what we've had a lot of conversations around this.
Yeah, is indica really indica and sativa really sativa?
Right, because really, it's different for everybody, right?
Exactly. So weed is traditionally classified into three main categories: indica, sativa, and hybrid. But rampant interbreeding has rendered these distinctions almost completely meaningless. Also, different weed strains aren't regulated, adding another layer of difficulty to categorization. If you're new to cannabis and deciding which kind is the best, you'll probably come across a few of the buzzwords: indica, sativa, and hybrid. For manufacturers, these terms indicate how the plant should look. For consumers, they depict the way the weed is supposed to make you feel. However, there's one problem with all this. Experts are discovering that these distinctions between the effects of sativa, indica, and hybrid weed strains may not be so clear-cut anymore.
Weren't we talking about how it's difficult to do research because there's so many different
terpenes
and all kinds of
varieties of...
And not only that, even regulation would be
and
difficult.
They're just bred to... There's just so many hybrids now.
Right. So indica versus sativa. Indica and sativa were used to distinguish between cannabis varieties based on physical characteristics, says Jeff Chen, MD, MBA, founder of the UCLA Cannabis Research Initiative and co-founder of CEO of Radical Science. But at some point, popular culture began attaching distinctions in the effects from consumption of indica versus sativa, despite no evidence of this. Weed strains. Sativa strains are said to make you feel more energized, focused, and creative. They are taller than other strains and have long, narrow, fan-like leaves. Indica strains are supposed to relax and sedate you. They're shorter than sativa plants and have broader, bushier leaves. Hybrids are thought to mix the effects of sativa and indica, so you get the best of both strains. Because they're bred from both sativa and indica strains, hybrid marijuana plants range widely in terms of their height and leaf shape and size. Therefore, when you come across a list of different strains at your local dispensary, it's entirely possible that the Aloha sativa strain will energize you more than the liquid butter indica, or that a weed marketed with a higher percent of THC will give you a stronger high. But it's also not a guarantee.
So a 2015 study analyzed 494 samples of 35 different strains of cannabis, all labeled as either indica, sativa, or hybrid. The researchers found that the chemical makeup between many indica and sativa strains was not distinct enough to differentiate the two. Furthermore, the study found that the amount of THC in any given strain can vary greatly, suggesting that you should not equate specific strains with specific amounts of THC. To complicate things more, hybrid strains are growing increasingly popular, and the interbreeding of these hybrid strains has become so common that distinctions between indica and sativa at this point are almost meaningless, researchers reported in a study of 2018. On top of all this, the environment where the plant grows, including its nutrients, the light it receives, the schedule of lighting, can change the ultimate product, says Benjamin Kaplan, MD, founder of the Chief Medical Officer of CED Clinic. So if you buy the same hybrid strain in California that you bought in Colorado, chances are you won't feel the same despite it being labeled as the same strain.
Ultimately, Chen says that you can't confirm either way what strain you're dealing with because there's no central authority nor standardized checklist to determine if a strain of cannabis is indica or sativa. That might explain why most marijuana sites will have some clarification similar to this one on Weed Maps. Keep in mind that even though their genetics will guide the experiences users have, each strain affects everyone differently no matter its designation.
Yep, says that on every strain.
Yeah. Despite many pop culture claims and claims made by individuals, there's no proven clear distinction between the effects of sativa and indica varieties of cannabis. The only proven difference is the physical appearance of the plants. So when you head to a dispensary and see products labeled as either indica or sativa, take it with a grain of salt. If you decide to use cannabis, be sure to go forward with caution and be aware of the potential risks. Do your research. Also, sometimes the research is when you smoke it. Yeah, when you just try the different strains.
You just gotta try the different strains and see what works for you.
Yeah, and luckily, I mean, not everybody has that, privilege, unfortunately. We're trying to get there.
Yeah.
But when you start having that ability, I mean, it does make a difference. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
We're still going to use it for jokes and shit. Because what are you going to do?
In the couch.
Yeah, in the couch. I'm so sick of that.
I love you, Miami!
This is terrible. We're always sick of Miami because it's almost never good news.
This is a really sad story. And this is the biggest story in Miami right
now.
And
it's insane.
And I'm sure everybody knows about it. And that's about
and everybody woke up on Thursday morning to the news that there was a building collapse in Surfside, Florida. Crazy, because I didn't think it was. We all didn't think it was as bad as it was. Like, we thought it was bad, but then when we saw that footage, the security cam footage from it collapsing, it's bad.
I mean, it put into perspective how bad it was. Like, I heard about it on my drive to work on the radio on NPR. They're like, "Oh, a building collapsed in Surfside." I'm like, dude, I pass Surfside on the way to my job. Like, I was like, oh my God, how does a building just collapse? So I was listening to the story on the radio and I couldn't believe it. And then I found out later that there was a surveillance camera that showed the actual event that happened at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
while
2
people were sleeping.
People sleeping in their own house and the whole building in their own place and the whole building collapsed. Some people have been rescued. Some people were rescued right after it happened from the building.
Yeah. So it says here at least 159 people remain missing after the building collapsed in Surfside. Search and rescue teams are continuing to look for survivors. At least 4 people have been recovered and is dead. And this happened around 1:30 in the morning. An estimated 55 condominiums fell to the ground.
Oh my God. With residents sleep inside.
They're
what
just
a fucking
sleeping,
nightmare. What a horrible thing.
I think they said that it was 100 and something have been accounted for and 159 are still missing. And they've found 4 dead. So they've only gotten 4 dead so far. And it's been, we're recording right now on Saturday, and this happened on Thursday.
Morning.
So they're not really making much progress.
I mean, but imagine, if you look at how everything crumbled, and then imagine being the
it looks like ground zero, just like 9/11.
Imagine having to be a first responder trying to look for stuff in the rubble.
They have dogs there. They have sonar devices that they're using to try to listen, microphones and stuff. They have a lot of resources. They just had a lot of bad luck with weather and
oh my God, it's been nonstop raining here, which is not helpful at all. And I honestly, one of the things that scares me the most here is, and I don't think so because they've released the inspection of the building, and apparently it did have some major cracks in it
was reported in 2018 that there were some cracks
and weatherproofing that was not. I mean, and if you even know Miami Beach, they're literally underwater. We have built all of this shit on sand, and corrosive. It's yes. So the fact that Miami Beach still exists, to me, is insane, because when it starts raining out there, there's whole parts of that city that are underwater.
Yep.
But fucking people from Florida, they're persistent. You tell us a hurricane's coming? I mean, some of the people here won't even get ready unless it's category fucking 4. I mean, it's insane, but
that's what's so crazy is that Miami building codes are extremely strict because of the hurricanes.
And that's what the mayor was saying, is that this is really crazy that this is happening, and especially in this country.
And people around there are, with good reason, afraid. Think about all the people that live in condominiums on the beach that are buildings that are 40 years old or older, and every person that lives in a condo on the beach right now in Miami is thinking, could that fucking happen to me?
Yeah, bro. But I mean, I think sinkholes, to me,
they already
so
ruled
crazy.
out. They ruled out that it is a sinkhole.
Right. Well, how terrifying is a sinkhole? Just randomly opens the earth, or randomly opens up and swallows you?
That is terrifying.
That's super terrifying.
This made me think of that.
Yeah.
But if you want to try and help, they've received an abundance of donations. So I was seeing on the news that they prefer monetary at this point because they have gotten so much stuff.
Yeah.
That now they're just trying to get through it all.
I mean, I feel like whenever you're donating, if monetarily would be the best option, and under any circumstances, just because money, you don't have to know what they need. The money will take care of whatever it is they need.
They'll use it how they need it. So the American Red Cross is helping displaced residents find places to stay, so you can donate there. The ATJC Aventura Turnberry Jewish Center is collecting donations for individuals and families. Direct Relief has teamed up with the NBA's Miami Heat to collect donations, helping to provide health care for the survivors and equipment for first responders. And the Greater Miami Jewish Federation is accepting donations to help provide spiritual support, because it's a big Jewish community. I believe a lot of people live
Surfside,
there.
Yeah.
And then World Central Kitchen is serving hot meals to the displaced residents and the rescue crew. So those are all organizations helping. And all we can do is hope is that they find more people alive. But at this point, it seems like it's not very hopeful.
It isn't. It's very sad. Our hearts go out to these families, and just, God, this makes you realize how precious life is. Just, be happy for every single moment you got, because you don't know when the earth is going to open up or something's going to happen, something crazy.
Anything.
Because this is the fact that this even happened is insane. Shit like this just doesn't happen here.
No.
And so our hearts go out to these people. And if you can make a donation, please by all means, they'd appreciate that. So another news story came up from Miami. Angry Beyonce fans review bomb Trick Daddy's restaurant. Damn, we don't have a song.
I know we should have queued up.
Put,
this
look,
song.
well, look. Let me start this and look up a famous Trick Daddy song. We got you linked up here, so we can let everybody know. Everybody can, because not everybody knows who Trick Daddy is. He's a predominant figure here. He's a rapper, just like Rick Ross is from Miami, and he's a representative. So is Trick Daddy. I actually was telling Captain J I sold him liquor when I worked at a liquor store once. I had no idea who he was. He had a diamond AK-47 hanging from his neck, like a jewelry. So he was born here, Maurice Samuel Young. He's known to the public and 90s era fans as the American rapper Trick Daddy. He's in the doghouse, or maybe that should be the Bay House. Oh my God. I'm gonna send whoever wrote that joke.
This is from Miami New Times.
Yeah, I'm gonna send them a pat on the back. He became a trending Twitter topic this week after audio from a conversation on the invitation-only social networking app Clubhouse was made public. On Clubhouse, users can listen in to conversations, interviews, and discussions between users discussing various topics, like tuning into a live podcast. We've talked about Clubhouse before. In the audio clip, Young can be heard saying, Beyonce fuck with her because she sees money. Beyonce ain't trying to give back to music or nothing. Beyonce don't write music and barely can sing her motherfucking self. Beyonce can't sing. They spelled the S-A-N-G. Beyonce can't sing. Beyonce fans, known collectively as the Bayhive, swiftly retaliated by posting negative reviews of Trick Daddy's popular Miami Gardens restaurant's Sunday's Eatery.
Dude, I had no idea he had a
I
restaurant
had no
in Miami
clue
Gardens.
either.
Miami Gardens is right there.
Yeah, Miami Gardens is also one of the top places to be murdered.
What?
No, they have Miami Gardens has a high
Really?
what is it?
Crime rate?
High crime rate. Yes.
Oh my God, really?
Yes.
You realize that?
yes,
That's where I go get my weed.
Well, there
That's
you go.
where my dispensary is in Miami Gardens,
Wow.
when I go to.
Oh, your dispensary. I thought we were taking it back.
No,
I'm like, oh,
my
that's where you used to
dispensary
get
is
your
in
weed?
Miami Gardens.
Sí, bueno.
Boulevard.
Pero bueno.
All right. So Uproxx reported that a slew of one-star reviews suddenly showed up on the restaurant's Google listing, each accompanied by a bee emoji. The stinging reviews managed to briefly drop the restaurant's Google rating to 2.6. The rating has since then risen back up to 4.5, and most of the comments have been
Throwing
removed.
shade.
On Tuesday, June 22nd, negative reviews flooded Sunday Eateries, Yelp, and Google accounts in retaliation for Trick Daddy's negative remarks. I guess this is just another summary. So the restaurant's Yelp account, which contained a large number of 5-star reviews, also received a slew of out-of-state one-star marks.
Yeah, they shot all over his shit.
They were all over from out of state too, so they kind of like stood out. So the reviews had not been deleted, and the restaurant's account has been flagged for media-related activity.
Miami food blogger Starx Smith. Oh, wait, are we there?
Yeah, I just realized that we reversed our colors.
See? You see Miami food blogger Starx Smith, which we're personal. Well, we're not personal friends with, but we went to high school with him.
I went to high school with him. I hung out with him through a mutual friend.
I had him in class. I had him in some classes.
And we follow each other on Facebook.
And I like
He's
him.
a great guy. He's funny.
And he's super funny. Posted a message of solidarity on his Hungry Black Man Instagram page saying, Trick is being attacked because he said Beyonce can't sing. This man hires black people and has a black woman as a partner. They are who I think about when seeing how the ratings can impact tourism. Not okay. They don't deserve this. What's ironic here is that many Miami residents probably didn't even know Trick Daddy owns and operates a South Florida establishment until Bayhive decided to go after him. Sunday's Eatery is popular and well-regarded spot where diners can, as Trick puts it, get a Sunday meal any day of the week and even take it to the house via several home delivery options. Oh my God.
That's great.
Can you play that
Take it to the house,
song?
take it to the house.
Can we play that song? We'll play that song on our intro out. That's a fucking...
So the menu reads like a commendum of family meal favorites, from deep fried snapper, catfish,
Ooh.
ribs, shrimp, pork chops, chicken wings, and Cornish hen. Several items can also be prepared baked, including turkey, chicken, and fish. Sides include standard barbecued inspired fixings like mac and cheese, collard greens, candied yams, peas and rice, and string beans.
Well, shit, now that we know Trick Daddy has a restaurant here and it sounds good as shit, like I want to have all that food. We should totally go down there.
We
have
need
a meal
to go
and
to Sunday Eatery. That's what it's called.
We gotta go to Sunday
Eatery in Miami
Eatery.
Gardens, and we're gonna take it to the house.
We're gonna take it to the house.
I wonder when you call, you'd be like, "I like to order takeout for take it to the house."
Yes, please. I'd like to take it to the house.
Take it to the house.
Take it to the house. You think the server on the other line of the phone has to repeat it back to you if you actually say it? Like, hi,
They're trained
I
to,
like to
like-
place an order. And then take it to the house. 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 Okay. Okay, girl, we see you. We'll take it to your house. So this next interview was quite delightful. We've seen her around for a while. We've interacted with her. We've even been in several like live rooms with her. Like I don't know. We spoke on some
Talkativity, I think.
Talkativity and some other things with her. But this is the first time we got to sit down with the Mommy Jane and talk to her about
2-on-1.
2-on-1. To talk about social media and mental health. She does a lot of content creation in the cannabis field. You know, we talk about how it's important. If you really want to get into the cannabis industry, you can and you should. And she wants to support your decision to do so. So we talk a lot about that. Please enjoy our interview with the Mommy Jane. Here it is.
Thank you for having me. I was telling my girlfriend this morning how excited I was to be on this podcast. So it's very exciting. Such an honor. Thank you.
Thank you. I enjoy peeping your lives every once in a while, and you're so fun to watch.
Thank you. I have fun. I really enjoy doing live broadcasts. I'm very comfortable for some reason in front of cameras, and so I really enjoy, spreading the normalization of cannabis and sharing my success story. And, I feel like we have this one life to live, might as well make the most of it and, share what we know so we can help others.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like as moms that love cannabis, I never realized what a big community it was and also how necessary it was till people started reaching out, right? I'm sure women always reach out to you going, thank you so much for like representing.
Yes. The DMs are very significant and I'm really grateful. And it's just further proof that, we need to normalize this plant. There are a lot of women and men that are still in the closet and, it's tremendous amount of parents for the most part, and they come across my page or yours or anybody else, and they're just so grateful. They say, I joined your community and I was able to find other women and I was able to find other podcasts, or I was able to find other connections. I was able to get a spot in the industry. I was able to start my own brand. There's so many things that have trickled out from this virtual community, and it's been really so rewarding. And that's why I do it. I complain a lot and I know I shouldn't, but this industry is not easy. It's so taxing sometimes on personal space and just integrity. Sometimes like you get bamboozled by people and you just feel like, I don't believe it. I don't know if I believe in this industry anymore. I feel disheartened, and you just got to keep going. You need to believe that, those people are teaching you lessons. The right people are out there and you will connect at the right time. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person and you deserve this bad business partner or this bad situation. It just means that you're picking up these lessons along the way. And I have to remind myself when the going gets tough, like, okay, this is just a lesson. You're only going to come back stronger every single time. And I'm sure you too, from experience of just running the social media and running the podcast, it's such a tiring but rewarding industry, right? It's like motherhood. It really is. It's exactly like I understand the female energy with this plant because it reminds me so much of motherhood and diversity and individuality and how we nurture people, but not everybody's for everybody, just like not every strain's for everybody, And so we have to remember that as well. Cannabis isn't for everyone. We can preach it to the high heavens, but not everybody's going to be receptive, and they're not also going to have a lifestyle that's going to be for that. I had a neighbor who couldn't take it because CBD interfered with her medication. So it's just, we never know what's out there. It's just a matter of us sticking to our paths, believing in ourselves, and, making sure that we take care of our mental health throughout the journey of it all.
Yeah, social media in it of itself can be very, very overwhelming. I think over the pandemic, I picked up like a really bad social media kind of addiction, where it's like every second of my day has to be consumed with something. So it's like, oh, okay, I'll just pick up this distraction real quick and start, kind of letting it kind of control, kind of just take over. And then once you know it, you're like, oh my God, why am I just doing, like, I got to break from this, It could be.
Yeah, I think, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, it could be like intense. Like, it's kind of like a love-hate relationship.
It is such a love-hate relationship. Oh my gosh. I just said that yesterday or like 2 days ago, how I feel about social media is a love-hate relationship. Oh my gosh, because obviously it's the beast that feeds us. So we have to enjoy it. It's where marketing's going these days. So if you want to be any sort of business entity, you have to understand social media. You have to understand how it works to some extent. You don't need to be a maven, but you got to have a grasp, in order to be able to be a marketable company or brand or whatever the hell you're going for with your life, and it's just the pandemic definitely, and with my children too, like they're going to have a rude awakening, not having these opportunities to be on screens and sleeping in. Like we've been homeschooling. So like we get the homeschooling done in 3 hours and they have their leisure. They're not going to have that when they go back to school. And so I had to be the same way. Like I had to check myself and go, oh my God, okay, things are opening up again. Like you need to like get back to reality, because I left reality, and this became my reality. Yeah. My phone became my reality because nothing existed anymore. We couldn't go anywhere. So the only thing I knew that was real was this. It was so crazy, for something that we made so much fun of, that social media is fake and everybody portrays the fakeness. We were showing everything at that point. As soon as the pandemic hit, everyone's vulnerability showed, whether they wanted it to show or not. And some people's showed right away. And some people like myself, it took to 2021 for myself to collapse, and feel the weight of the year, because what a heavy thing we went through,
Yeah.
And thank God for cannabis, so that's pretty much it. Is like, we need to give ourselves some grace. Yes. Like we need to go back to like Mother Nature, go back to the museums. Now they're opening up, go see the planetarium, see some crazy stuff we've never seen before.
Experience things. Oh my God. Right? I have such a hunger for experiences right now.
Yes.
And being a stay-at-home mom, it's kind of hard because you're just like, oh, I have to stay in and be with the kids and stuff. But at the same time, like the streets are calling. Like I have to go out there.
How old are your kids?
Hard to entertain. It's really hard to entertain when there's nowhere to take them. We moved to my hometown, and I was like, well, I could take you to all these cool places, but nothing's open right now. So, but my children are 7 and 13. So she's about to be 8, and she'll remind me if she was in the room. She would definitely like, I'm going to be 8 soon. I was like, all right, you're going to be 8 in September. Okay. But you're both moms. You already know. Like once the 6 months hits, it's like, you might as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's been with them too. I mean, like, yeah, entertaining them. I'm thinking of like, oh, what can I finally start to put them in? Please. Let's get them doing stuff. Everybody.
Like, what are you interested in right now? Do you want to go to music camp, acting camp? Like, where can I take you to get you out of this house?
Seriously.
I kept telling them, it's like, this is just a trial for when you go back to school. But really, it's a taste of the freedom for me, because 7 years, man, is a long time to be at home. I loved my kids, and what a blessing it's been. But day in and day out is a long time to be around little tiny humans.
Yeah.
So really excited for this school year, for everybody to grow from it.
How did you actually come into the cannabis creator space, come into your community and start the Mommy Jane in the neighborhood? How did all that happen?
Oh my God, I love that you called it a cannabis creator space, because as you may have known, I wrote this guide, and I'm like, I just woke up yesterday and I'm like, I got to take out all the influencer words and I'm going to change it all to content creator because I'm like, I don't want that word. I feel like it's a hindrance to us now. It waters down us as content creators. I'm honestly like 90% of my stuff isn't even paid content anyway. So how much am I really influencing if I'm not really making it my lifestyle? Like, yeah, you can be an influential person without being an influencer, and you can just be a regular person and people don't have to be influenced by you too. Like you can still like my page and not like the same shit as me. And heck yeah, that's great. What, I have a neighbor over in Jersey that I met in person and she doesn't even smoke cannabis. She just loved Mommy Jane. And when I was in New York, she's like, I want to meet you. And I said, okay, well, let's meet in Jersey. And so we met up and it's like, she's a real estate agent. Her kids are grown. Like we are opposites. But hey, like that's the cool thing about this is like this industry connects people and that's why I love it. So let me answer your question on how I got into the industry. So I was, as I was saying, I was a stay-at-home mom for a number of years at that point, and I was an alcoholic and taking prescription drugs for my depression and anxiety, not realizing that the alcohol was exacerbating the problem, and that's probably why my prescription drugs maybe weren't working to the fullest extent. Let's be honest, okay? And I've been through prescription drugs since I was 19, so this wasn't my first rodeo. But it got to a point where I was also drinking, day drinking, and using food to cope with my stress and using prescription drugs. And I was reintroduced to cannabis by a fellow mother who showed me what a vape pen was. And God, that was like 5 years ago. I'd never in my life, in my dreams, I had wished in high school I could have had that so I wouldn't smell like the high heavens. Like I was telling my girlfriend the other day, I used to put Carmex on my fingers so my hands wouldn't smell. I was using terpenes at the time. I didn't realize I was using plant medicine, but the things we used to go through to like prevent the smell. But she introduced me to this vape pen and I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. I'm going to be able to smoke whenever I want instead of drink. Cause I really didn't want to drink. I was just so anxious from being a mom, so depressed from being postpartum and just like not feeling myself anymore and feeling, when you become a stay-at-home mom, I was working from age 11 until 30 abruptly. So it was a shock to my system. I was a young workaholic and I was always carrying at least 1 to 2 jobs my entire life because I enjoyed working that much. So it did a number to my soul. And so I realized that cannabis made me feel the way that alcohol made me feel, but without making me feel groggy. It took away my anxiety. It made me feel less of a mess and more in control, and my thoughts were more focused. And then, so I decided to do some research because my idea of cannabis was, recreational. And so once I discovered that I could use cannabis to make my life better, I decided to start an Instagram page because Facebook was not very cannabis friendly. And every time I tried talking about it, my family was like nothing, no, not a good idea. So I decided I was going to create a completely different page. And I started off private at first because I was kind of like scared, embarrassed, shy, carrying that stigma with me. And I would write like facts like, well, did you know this? And I'm trying this strain for this week. And I would hide my face even because I didn't want people in Irvine to know because it was in really conservative area, very to this day, very anti-cannabis. And so I was trying to like lead this life. That's why I created the Mommy Jane, because I didn't want to also give my name out. I really tried my best to like create this entity that was like this woman who was going to show the world that cannabis was normal for moms, but I wanted to remain anonymous, hence the Jane Doe. That didn't last very long. It is what it is. It wasn't
been
my
there.
fault.
We started Faceless too.
And after that, I was like, well, I mean, at that point, what are you going to do? It's in media forever. You're not going to be like, you need to take down that episode. So we carry on, and it is what it is. But I did not intend to show my face in the beginning. I did not try and get it for, any sort of like free products or anything that's been handed to me in this experience. I never, ever, ever anticipated in a million years. Like, I just did it to help moms. I just did it because I was a mom on the internet, not seeing anything for us out there. There was nothing for us out there. There's hardly any research. I was barely able to discover about THCV and how it could help me lose my 100 pounds of postpartum weight. because I gained so much weight after. Like everyone talks about your weight during pregnancy. Well, I gained an extra 60 after on top of the 40 or whatever I gained. I stopped weighing myself at 220. I just stopped. You know, everyone gets to a point where you're just like, I don't even care anymore. I don't need to care anymore. So that was pretty much it. I was really grateful for cannabis, and I shared my story, and it kind of took off. And I just realized this year, because I was going back to Disneyland, and I was kind of like having like a reflection of visits and stuff. And I was like, you know what, I'll be damned. I almost feel like if it wasn't for that Disney video that I created, because I had a little bit of a temper. It's definitely gotten better since I've done psilocybin over the past few years. But a few years ago, I really had no control over my temper whatsoever. I like to think that I have better control now, but you know, we have our days. But I really didn't have control of it then. And we went to Disneyland, and my husband and I, we were like totally like just chastised for bringing in CBD vape pens, because I have anxiety in crowds and I don't take pharmaceuticals anymore. So I needed that in order to be at Disneyland. And they were like, they were like yelling at, like, there better not be THC in this. You can't bring cannabis. And you're like yelling it in front of all the parents, pulled us aside and everything.
Oh my
so
gosh.
I made this video at the park because I was walking through California Adventure later on that evening after the whole thing had been settled. And I smelled cigarette smoke, and I was like, these motherfuckers can tell me that I can't bring in a CBD vape pen, but we're going to have sections roped off so that they can just smoke up a chimney. I can get secondhand smoke. It's willy-nilly, no big deal. Like, I was irate. So I filmed myself at Disneyland. It caught wind. It like Grow Sisters wanted me on their podcast. Sharon Letts asked for an interview for Weed World magazine. Like, it was all of a sudden I had something backing me, because I was a mom that was furious. It was one thing if you were going to be taking away my THC, like I'm going to try and sneak that shit in, but I'll understand if you take it away. But the CBD, no, I'm sorry. That's my medicine. Disneyland is anyone who has anxiety knows that is an anxiety riddling place. Depending on what if you have freaking phobias of big things or rides or freaking
people,
or germs,
yeah,
like,
just people. The
anxiety,
hordes.
it's gonna be at Disneyland.
Oh my God, there's so many people, and we were just taught. We love Disney World. We're in Florida, so Disney World is our jam. But
Obsessed.
my God, have you seen the videos of the people lately? It's like packed to the freaking.
Yeah, it's
I
packed.
can't.
But they took away the smoking areas now in Disney. There's no longer nicotine allowed.
Oh,
No cigarette smoke
well,
anymore in
there
Disney.
you
At least
go.
in Disney World. I don't know if Disneyland's
Disneyland's
different, but in
maybe.
Disney World they took away all the smoking sections, which is where I would go smoke my vape.
Yeah.
So now I gotta hide in the bathroom.
Now you need a sploofie.
No, I gotta
Put
hide
your
in the
vape
bathroom.
in.
And now
Then I
you need
learned
a
how to
little.
hide my vape, and then
Yeah.
et cetera. And then I started taking psilocybin, and that was a little bit easier. So, et cetera. Where there's a will, there's a way. So
Yeah, or like
don't say no to
edibles
me.
and stuff too.
I'd like
maybe.
to think that my little temper tantrum at Disneyland caught the right attention, and that any publicity is good publicity, just as they say. So I did the interview as Jane. I did not once again use my name, because I was still trying my best not to say my name, but someone else did, and it's fine. But
How'd your name get exposed? I want to hear this story now.
it's really funny. And at this point, she knows. She said it because I confronted her about it. I was in a business with a woman named Lena Thompson, and she had a podcast. I don't know if she still does, but we started the 420 Book Society, which is now a very popular subscription box that requires, books and little fun, cutesy things that go along with it. And all the blessings to her in the business and her future, because that was just not my destiny, obviously. But she has, I have no idea if she still has the podcast, and was talking about me and using my full name, like, on the episode. And I was like, damn.
There it
Damn. And
goes.
she would even say, like, Jessica Gonzalez, the mommy Jane. I'm like, no, like I was a group mom. I was doing my best to like keep it under wraps, but
You didn't
It
have
is
her.
what
You
it
didn't tell
is.
her to edit it, or you were just like, at this point, you were probably just like,
It
whatever.
had already
Here
aired.
you go.
I think it had
Oh.
already
Yeah.
aired.
at that point I started showing my face, because I was like, balls to the wall, like at
Balls
any
to the
point
wall.
people could just look me up. My family, I have a very touchy relationship with my family, so I was a little nervous about them, but they found me also eventually, just like you can't hide. And once I was in high times, like I really didn't care anymore. I didn't give a shit about
At that
anything. I was
point.
like, you can literally see me if you Google me on Google. So I can't hide it at this point. Even my ex-husband, I was like,
It's
take me to court. Like, I'm going to tell the judge, like, this is my job. I'm not trying to, like, ruin my child's life or anything. I'm literally just promoting advocacy for plant medicine. That's it. So yeah, it was kind of like my buffer. That was like my, like, okay, now I'm safe. Now no one's going to take my kids away from me because this is like my job now, not that high times is like the end all be all, but I felt like once you're recognized in that sort of culture,
but luckily you live in a legal state. There's moms that live in states where it's completely illegal. So the idea of doing anything like what you or us do is like, they just can't.
It's crazy.
We actually got a DM from a mom the other day that said, I love what you're doing, but I can't take that risk in the state that I'm in because of my kids and my job. But she was like, as soon as it's legal, I'm, 100%.
And you know what? I think it's like, too, everybody. So, because we started the same way with you, like the same way you did. Because we were like, well, at the end of the day, what really matters is the voice. What really matters is the message, right?
Yes.
But ultimately, like, we started doing other kinds of content because when you do a podcast, you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to record a podcast and everyone's going to listen to it. You have to promote it. You have to find people to different ways, and that's why it's content creator, right? So I had theater background and I started doing funny sketches on TikTok, and I was like, you know what? I have to, like, how can we? And then we had spoken to some people who were like, well, how can you advocate for cannabis when, like, you're still kind of on the DL?
Green Baker.
Yeah, I know. She really got us. And
Dang, way to get called out.
She's like, how can you guys,
and
really advocate, for breaking the stigma if you're too stigmatized to even say who you are?
Exactly. We're like, it's too much stigma. But at the end of the day, too, it's like, well, you have to respect everybody's level of, like, openness with it, because it's still obviously very stigmatized. And some people work in a business where they cannot,
or they have exes that will be, a little
take
cray.
The kids away. Yeah.
So you got to be careful with all that stuff. Businesses and families, and there's like so many reasons why people need to hide it. I don't shame anyone for needing to be in the closet, because it took me, God, over 30 years to get out of mine. So who the fuck am I to judge, right?
Yeah, man, it is. It just is how it is right now. And hopefully people like us can make it more normalized. I mean, platforms make it difficult because they don't like us showing stuff.
It's definitely normalized it. Doing this podcast has definitely normalized it in my life, because my dad found out about it, and now, like, I had no choice but to be more open with him about it. And he's totally cool, and now it's like nothing.
Oh,
like,
so many conversations open the doors for, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I love this. Oh my gosh, I love that.
And then I kept it from my mom, who's older. And then when I finally told her, I immediately regretted it, because she's an old conservative Cuban lady. And I was just like, what? This is exactly what I didn't want. And then it was
I was wondering with your background how it was because my husband's Latino and he's the hard rock to move, because that culture is like, if you do drugs, you're a drug user. Like, that's it.
Right. It's been painted in such a dark light, which is, I kind of understand it, and you kind of have to give them time. But it was like, I had to say, like,
they're brainwashed.
You knew me. You've known me this entire time. You knew what a great person I've been, what a wonderful mom I am. Why does it fucking change now that I tell you I fucking I love weed?
But then if anything happens or anything, it's like, were you high?
Right. The judgment. There's still so much judgment.
High right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you smoke around your kids?
Always,
like, well,
every day,
I blow the smoke in their face. Like, what the come on. Give me a break.
I hotbox the van, don't you know, guys?
Right. Like,
on the way to drop them off for school.
Yeah.
They're so well behaved, obviously.
That would be such a funny TikTok. Hotboxing the van.
Oh my God. The comments we would get on
with
that.
fake children in the car. What a funny prank. Terrible.
So for any listeners or anybody that you think that would be interested in entering the cannabis industry, well, how would you recommend it? How would you recommend going about it?
I get this question a lot, so I'm glad this is coming up. I really truly believe that if you have a desire to be in this space, there is a spot for you. And I always tell people to look at your skill sets that you already have. And you'll be surprised. You'll be very surprised on, like, I reflect back on my past jobs. I'm like, like it all kind of starts to make sense where you collect these little tools along the way for your tool belt. And so I tell people to look around your house. Like, what do you have a lot of? Like, what shows a lot about you? Like, if you're a foodie, obviously it'll show because you have this crazy kitchen and lots of kitchen gadgets. So maybe doing something that's a little bit more like food based when it comes to cannabis. You don't necessarily need to be an edible creator. There's jobs galore if you look on Indeed,
seriously.
There's a million.
And the way things are going too.
Go on LinkedIn. Yeah, exactly. There's like
events.
It's normal now. Like that
everything.
Is normal. Finding a job in cannabis is so normal. But if you're like I had a friend who she before did floral design and then ended up doing architectural floral design for dispensaries. So when people open up dispensaries, they ask her for her expertise, and she designs the fake or real flowers because dispensaries love the plants. So she has a space in the industry using her design skill sets, which is amazing. And I realized that I was hyping people up a lot. My friends would call me that were in the industry and they're like, oh my God, I'm just like, I just want to quit. I just want to quit. I can't stand this place. I just can't stand this industry. Like, I got screwed over again. No one wants to invest in women, blah, blah. It was like every day I was getting these phone calls and I was given advice and they're like, what did you do, Jess? Or how do you stay mindful? Or, whatever it was. And I was like, you know what? There's more to this. There's more to this. So I went and I got certified in mindset and meditation because I obviously have to, I'm a crazy person and I need to take care of my crazy. So I did it first and foremost for myself. I'm not going to lie. Secondly, I learned because I wanted to help other people out. And that's how I was able to take my skill sets, which was helping people, and then got certified in order to how to help people and applied it into the cannabis industry. So I help mostly women and brands grow their business or their mindset behind the scenes of the industry. So that is like so fucking specific, but that's because I started to realize I was talking on the phone all day to people and I loved it, but it's just so draining when it's not your job, So I made it my job.
There you go.
And then it's fulfilling. So that's the thing is if you like to educate, there's opportunities to educate. If you, want to be a coach, you guys know I talk about the coaching with Dr. Mary all the time, and Green Flower Media does it now through UC Riverside virtually. I mean, there is literally an opportunity. Nothing can stand in your way. It's all virtual education now. It's all like, from Dr. Mary's is about $500 and Green Flower Media is a couple thousand, but you're getting college education there and you're getting certified with Dr. Mary and you're getting put on directories there. And so, all these things you need to consider that are going to be for long-term, investments for your life. So if you really are serious and you really want to get the cannabis industry, look at the skill sets that you have. If you can already apply, if not, get certified in something that you are interested in. I mean, we've seen tarot people in cannabis and yoga in cannabis and fashion design in cannabis and CBD companies and Delta 8 companies. And, you literally, the sky's the limit. You can become a lawyer.
Ooh.
You can become a consultant for
Physical
businesses.
trainer.
You can be a social media consultant if you're really savvy in that sort of thing. I mean, it is all up to you. And don't look at me and think, oh, well, the Mommy Jane's doing it, so I can't do it. Are you kidding me? I can't help everybody. Come on. Are you kidding me? There is something for everyone. I tell people all the time, this is not the same brand as this. This is not the same brand as this. I buy brands of all sorts, and I will always be loyal to the ones I love, obviously.
Right.
But I'm not going to be like, oh, well, I only wear Target clothes. And that's it. Like, come on, that's crazy, I mean, Target's awesome, but so just all that to consider. Please don't look at what we do and think, oh, well, they've got the podcast and I can't do it, and she's doing this and I can't do it. See us as more of a reason to do it. See this. You obviously, if you're listening to this episode, it's hitting your ears for a reason, and this should be inspiring you to take that initiative, because we need more women in this industry. We need more positive people in this industry. If you don't identify as a woman, just please use your willpower for good and join forces with great people And yeah, stay grateful. That's my advice.
Yes, there's definitely room for everybody, and everybody's so welcoming in this community. Like everyone we've met, they're like there, open arms, show you the ropes, you know, things like that. But I forgot
where did you like when you how is everybody? Yeah, okay, so I know. Do we need to take a minute to spark up a bowl here?
I had a question and I lost it.
I know.
Oh, the guide. I wanted to know about the guide. You go through all of that in the guide. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, so I just completed the video part of the guide this week, and I am very grateful. I'm glad. I don't know when this is going to air, but I'm just saying that right now because I've been working on the written format since it took me 3 weeks to write it out. Well, it took notes. I have dozens of notebooks. I'm sure you two do too, of just notes I've taken over the years of just everything, like experiences, lectures, what have you, whatever. I've just collected all the information. And so I took my like best advice that I could possibly muster and condensed it into, it's over 100 pages. I was trying to keep it 99 pages, but whatever. It's like 108 or 109, and it might be longer after we edit everything. Who knows? But it's a meaty little guide, and it's from start to finish of personal branding on Instagram. And it's, you know, we're marketing towards people that want to be content creators, but I honestly believe that this is a mindful guide to rebrand yourself if people are already branded and already established to some extent, for them to buy this guide and go through it and comb through their page. Like I wrote that guide and like got so crazy depressed afterwards because I was like, God, you didn't do all this stuff that you intended to do when you were writing out your notes of what you wanted to do originally. And then you go back in your notes and you realize all the things you haven't done right. You didn't do those steps. You missed this step. Why did you forget to do this? But it's because like the rug got pulled below me. Like I had no idea that it was going to take off as quickly as it did. And I was lucky to be in Southern California, which was the right place at the right time because, you know, opportunities and events are rampant there. And Las Vegas is not far. San Diego is not far. And so I definitely, you know, mustered up to that. But I never ever anticipated the growth really until it was already happening. And to this year, I think was the first year I realized that I've made myself a pretty successful entity, and that caused me to be more depressed. You go through these like imposter syndrome things. So I had like one depression node after writing the guide, and then like another depression node after I was like, oh my God, you've done so much. Like, oh my God, it's like you go through this roller coaster. If you haven't done enough, you've done so much, and then now I'm like, I'm sure you two have gone through the same thing.
Yeah,
it's just crazy. We just need to give ourselves more grace. I realized after this guide was complete that like, I'm going to go through it again before this year is up. And I'm in the middle right now of rebranding myself and re-energizing myself, I guess, for lack of better words, because, you know, depression's a real thing and we all have good years and bad years. And man, I lasted like almost 4 years without really going through a really dark patch. And that's pretty impressive. Everyone in this industry is freaking out right now and they think I'm like not taking care of myself. But for someone who has chronic depression and anxiety to like go that long, fuck, I'm so fucking stoked.
And all of
like,
2020, like
after
and all of 2020, like it's good. The thing is it's good because if had that happened in 2020, like, oh my God, I feel so terrible for people who really had to go through it during that time because
a hard time. Yeah.
Because. But a roller coaster of depression, like, oh my God. And social media does not help. And numbers just do not help. Mm-hmm. And you just, imposter syndrome because you're always like, well, how can I prove to the world that what I'm creating is worth their time? Because that's what I always think about is like, what can I do to make my content more valuable? And it's not that you're like comparing yourself to other people that do the same thing you do in the industry, but sometimes it's human to kind of look at someone and go, well, why are they getting so much attention and so much work? And I feel like I put blood, sweat, and tears to it, and it's just a slow crawl. So I get everything completely. Oh my God, social media and depression, it's like,
It's a real freaking topic.
For
It's a real
real.
topic. I had a meeting this week with some people in the industry, and we were talking about social media depression and imposter syndrome. I'm like, man, this is like too rampant at this point because we never got a chance to slow down. We had the industry with the world stopped, but I was still working for a lawyer at the time up until like 6 months into the pandemic. So I was still working literally, and then everybody else in the industry was still fucking working also because the industry wasn't stopping. So I didn't stop. I was like, go, 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 go. When I watched Tiger King, it was at night after I'd already completed my fucking work. So that was rough, man. That was so exhausting and I was looking back and going like, how the hell did you do that? Like, I think that's what caused even more like exhaustion and like release and mental illness and stuff. So I'm so grateful for the year that it gifted me. But man, I was like a duck. I was just like swimming, making it work. And we all are probably like tired now, because we've all been doing this for over a year and a half. And we all haven't had a chance to go on vacation because there's no place to vacation. And we've just been working because this industry has been nonstop because every other month is a holiday and an excuse to like celebrate, excuse to talk about something. And Lord knows, man, it's like, hi.
So, yeah. So, okay. As a content creator and as a human, you have, I don't want to say biased opinions of certain things, but you have certain, you have certain things that you believe in that are personal to you that somebody else might not agree with, right?
Fuck yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. I get in trouble all the time for my mouth.
So, right. So there's certain things, that I feel like are hot topics that I kind of feel strongly about, but I also feel that it's not within my jurisdiction to be talking about it. But I want people to like, how can you as a creator say, hey, I'm about this, I'm for this, but like, I'm not an expert at this. So don't expect me to know how to navigate, this space well, right? Because I think like everybody wants to create an inclusive space. I mean, for the most part, we definitely want to be able to, like, we love everyone and we want to be about it, but we know that there's certain people or certain, groups of people that struggle with stuff that we will never understand. We want to support them, right, as a creator, but we don't want to get into it because we're not experts on that topic. Do you see where I'm going with this?
I struggle with this all the time. As content creator and a public figure, people are always telling me I am not saying enough, and people are always telling me stop fucking talking about this. You have no reason to talk about this. So it is I feel awkward as a white woman to talk about anything. Really, I mean, I will definitely own up to everything we have done. I think it is a shame, and I am completely embarrassed, and I don't want to get emotional because I will. My mother, like, obviously raised me to have empathy, and she gets very emotional, and so I am a passionate person who grew up in the Bay Area, and it's like I care about people sometimes, and almost to a fault. And it's like I always want the best for humans, which is why I put myself out there because I see plant medicine as a betterment for humanity. But I can't do right half the time. And I feel like I'm constantly making mistakes when it comes to social issues. I got in trouble like 2 years ago for posting something that had to do with like fucking like Turkey or something. I don't even remember anymore because I like blocked it out. And everyone just is always just has an opinion like, oh, Jesse, you didn't like say this right, and you didn't word this right, and you didn't do this right. And it's just so hard because just I want people to realize like we are doing our best. It is so hard to be scrutinized for everything you say and do on a daily basis. It is absolutely exhausting. And I created this space because I truly believe that I can make a better positive impact on people's lives because people have told me that I do. But sometimes, man, it really takes a toll. It really takes a toll. We have a section in the guide that talks about the I did a guide with Chocativity. I don't want to not mention that. They are a social community for those of you that are listening and don't know, but they've also been very, very balanced in their social equity and just social matters. And I've just really seen them as like a beacon of light for that. So when we did this guide and we decided to do a section about cannabis history, I told them I couldn't do it. I was like, I have no room to talk about this. Like, I can't talk about cannabis history. And they're like, Jess, you need to talk about cannabis history. You owe it to the community to do it and share your take on it. And so just know that you guys, those of you that do end up buying the guide, like that was like, I cried in front of them like on 2 different meetings because it was so hard for me. And it's so hard for me now to even talk about it because it's an awkward situation to be in, to be a white female influencer. Right. I know my privilege. I'm like not oblivious to it, obviously. And I know that I wouldn't be able to do this if my husband wasn't successful, because I would have to have a regular job like I was doing before this. And I do my best to just use my voice for good, but it backfires. And I just hope that people that read the guide know that I made that guide with the best intentions. And I did my best giving my take on cannabis history. And if I left anything out, I'm so sorry. I'm just a human who can only do so much, and I just do the best I can. And
but
just
I
know
think,
that it comes from a good heart. And
yeah,
it always will.
And I think ultimately, that's what we have to be giving the message about. Is like, look, with all this whole cancel culture and all this shit, like it's just like people are people, and we have to also, at the end of the day, give them the benefit of the doubt that we're all humans, and that we're all still trying to like learn how to do things and how to approach things. And I can't speak for everybody's experience because everybody has a different experience. I learned through one of our good friends, Pawhead Mom. We talk to her all the time. She's been on our podcast a ton, about how you could be literally a sibling and have a completely different life experience. So it's like, everybody has a different life experience. And I want, I feel like I want to support everyone. But I know that sometimes it's a learning experience. Sometimes we have opinions and we're very opinionated, and like it could be hard being the voice or being, a person that's out there that has strong opinions. People like your opinions, but sometimes we need to be schooled. We need to be told what your experience is to have empathy, because unless you tell us what your life experience is, like we don't know, like it's just, it's difficult. We want to, like, you as a content creator, you want to be inclusive and you want to let everybody know that but also it's tough to navigate. I don't know there's no strict set of rules, and I don't want to be like fake about it either,
That's the other thing too. You don't want to be fake about it. I talked about my bisexuality this year, and that was the first time I ever spoke about that on social media, because it was never something that came up. That one of our neighbors tagged me in a post that like triggered me, and I was like, she's right. Like, I have people that have come to me and they've never dated a girl before, but they'll say like, I'm attracted to them. And who am I to say like just because you haven't, like, I want to go to Scotland, that doesn't mean Scotland's not cool because I've never been there. Like we always like tell people like how they should think and feel and all those things. And, it's just so crazy because I always like worry about bringing those topics up, because I always wonder, like, are you oversharing? Are you not sharing enough? Should you have said this a long time ago, or all those things? But it's like, if it's not relevant, like I will support my gay friends and my LGBTQ community and not have to be like, oh, well, I'm bi too. Right. Like and that's another thing that's like hard for me too, is the LGBTQ and how they're treated in the industry too, and how that's being exploited as well. It's just like, there's so many topics that I could go on, that I could navigate through. And, there's things that I've intended to post and I've never posted, and it just falls to the wayside. And luckily, sometimes, usually more often than not, someone else will post about it. I'm like, okay, good. Someone's already talked about this topic. So hopefully
I know, because it's so
I
overwhelming.
wish I could get out there everything I want to get out there. I can't. I know. I can't. That's sometimes I'm just not feeling it by the time it comes up, and I'm like, oh, I really don't want to do this anymore. Nah. And it's just how it goes.
For sure, I hear you. And that's why also too, but that's why you want to tell people that there's a space for everyone. Because if you are someone in that community and you have a voice and you feel you need to share your experience for other people, in our place, we're moms. And that's who we are really, talking directly to and can relate to the most. Even though you don't have to be a mom to like, to listen to the Mommy Jane or to the Pot Smoking Moms.
No. You don't even have to like cannabis to like us. But it'd be really cool if you did.
Well, but before we end our interview, we definitely want to ask some fun, pot related questions. So,
this is so exciting.
So what would you say is your favorite method of using cannabis?
Well, everyone's going to roll their eyes if they follow me on Instagram because I just spoke about how I'm trying not to combust as much, and I'm really doing my best to find products that are non-combustible. So if you got some good ones, let your girl know. However, I do love a bong with some keef and some hash and all the fixins. Give me the dribbles, give me the powders, give me
Yeah.
Yes.
A party bowl.
Yes.
give me a clean party bowl and a moose labs so I don't cough my face off
Yes.
because we already know how sensitive I am. Hello. And then then I'm a happy bee.
It's hard to consume only edibles, I think, because it's not the same thing. And
No, it's not the same.
But
you
I
gotta
feel
have
like
some sort of combust, even if it's just a vape.
I know.
Yeah. And
Seriously.
even the vape's not the same.
Yeah, even the vape's not the same.
I call it the Bud Light of cannabis.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it is.
That's so good.
I know. It is true.
prove me
That's so
wrong. Prove me
true.
wrong.
It really is. It's like, it's the circumstance. It's like the circumstantial. It's like that.
It's I'm in Disney. I'm in a bathroom stall.
Right.
This is what I got.
Okay. There was one brand that was pretty effing good. They're kind of costly though, so it's a little hard for the moms, you guys. But when you save up your pennies, Airgraft. Oh God, Airgraft makes some really good. They partner with. They're the pod or they're the battery, but the pods are like really freaking good. The California brands that they've partnered with. So hopefully they go nationwide. But they're the battery. Their battery is Airgraft, and they have like this nano cryptocurrency thing where it's like they've decided with the grower what terpene burn to make it at, and so like when you hit it, it's like what the grower decided for the strain, what it was going to be, and all this crazy shit.
Wow.
So it's like
Fancy.
an experience.
Yeah.
So shout out to Airgraft. I'm not affiliated with them, but I do love them because damn, I was like, okay, this is pretty fucking close.
So funny.
Nice.
Like, can you imagine if the card is like, oh, the terpenes in this card were extracted by Mark Lopez, and then it's like a little bit about Mark, and then it's like every vape cartridge. It's like, let's get to know the guy who squeezed the terps out of your flower. That would be so funny. Like, or like baseball cards for.
I wish we could get to know our growers a little more. I would
Right?
love a little picture. You know how sometimes they put that with the like if you buy like the fancy eggs, they'll show you who the chicken is. They're like, this is Helena.
Okay, so how about some strains? You mentioned that you used some strains that helped you with weight loss. So
We have a couple people who have been asking, like, they don't want the munchies, but they do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a huge question. I should talk about it more often. Really, once again, content that I fucking intend on posting and never put it up. Put that on there. Joink. So I've talked about this on some podcasts, but no one asked me, and I really should bring this up at like every podcast. This seems to be like my thing, my tagline. You want to look for strains that have THCV in it, which is tetrahydrocannabivarin. I'm probably saying it wrong. You scientists can fucking judge me all you want. I am not a guru. So
That sounded pretty
I'm
good,
just a
I'd
mom.
say.
But it is THCV for those of you looking, and those are usually we use this term loosely in the industry now, but sativa dominant normally. African landrace sativas, and they are usually strains like Durban Poison, and Girl Scout Cookies is another well-known one that I believe has a pretty good THCV amount. Like I, to this day, try and just aim for anything that has like mint in it, because it's really hard to find like pure THCV strains. There are like a number of them, and they're listed if you Google them. I'm not going to list them all for you right now. But if you Google it, you'll find it. And then you can find products. People create products. Some people create products that are THCV heavy, and some people have created tinctures, and some people have created capsules. From what I've heard, because I've asked the people that create the products, I'm like, why isn't there more THCV? Apparently it's extremely expensive. So, because I guess you have to like obviously isolate it. I'm assuming, I don't know, maybe that's why they're doing it wrong. I don't know, but it's expensive at the moment until they find another way. But you can look into your own research. But THCV XJ13 was one that just happened to work for me. So I truly believe like getting out there and like looking for ones that don't necessarily increase appetite, you might find ones that will ironically not suppress appetite like entirely, because I don't want you starving to death, but you're not going to like run to the kitchen like immediately after smoking a bowl and eat like 6 bags of Famous Amos cookies. Not that I've done that in my life, but I've done that in my life. So it's totally normal. And even if you do that, who cares? Just drink water and the next day have a smoothie, you'll be fine. So balance, it's all about balance. Okay. But yeah, THCV and minty like type strains, humulene if you're going to get in the terpene factor, because that is in grapefruit, and we've all heard about the grapefruit diet. Don't do it, ladies. Gentlemen, don't do it. Okay,
Grapefruits are
your body needs nutrients. Don't starve yourself. Just smoke some weed. That's going to make you less hungry. Okay, that's it. It's fucking easy. Don't fucking starve yourself. Don't be impatient. Jesus Christ, stop being impatient, everybody. Everyone wants to be like, I've talked about this in my stories today. I've been a size 2 and I've been like a size 20 over 3 times in my life, like back and forth. Okay. Like Michael Scott, snip, snap, snip, snap. You just got to be happy wherever and my husband's never not loved me when I was up there or down there or in between. He's just 10 years later, loved me at every size. And I've been every size in front of him. After 10 years, you become all sorts of sizes as moms, So I've just really tuned into loving myself. I've been so grateful for the body positive movement that has happened since I become a young adult. And shout out to Tess Holiday, who was my first body positive woman. Body Positive Panda was another account that I discovered on Instagram. And then ironically, who became a body positive person was Sarah Landry of Birds Papaya. She and I were losing weight. I was doing Beachbody, talking about MLMs. I'm not knocking it. It worked for me.
I know a couple
I don't know if
people.
she was doing Beachbody too, but we met online during one of our yo-yos of weight loss up and down journey, because she would, like myself, had been a bigger girl who was losing weight. And then ironically, we both gained weight again, and it is what it is. And that's the thing, is like someone told me a couple of years ago when I was pretty thin and working in the cannabis industry, they're like, are you like worried about gaining weight again because you're known for your weight loss? And I was like, I hope to God I'm not known for my weight loss. Like, I hope to God that there's more to me. I took it off my bio. I had it in my bio, like, 100 pounds weight loss due to cannabis when I first started. And then I took it off because I was like, I don't want that to be my identity. Like, I want me to go through all sorts of phases. Like, I'm going to be the mommy Jane, but one day I'm going to be the grandma Jane. And everybody better still fucking love my wrinkly ass for what it is, So yeah, I gained weight during the pandemic, and then I lost weight again, and I might gain weight again, and I might lose weight some more. Who knows? Like, I don't know, because my body's so different, and I just feed it when it's hungry, and then I smoke when I'm not high enough. And that's how I treat my body.
I smoke when I'm not high enough.
So another weed question.
My motto now.
What was the strain? What was the strain you were just smoking on before we started? They gave you that monster hit.
I'm so glad you said this. Okay, I don't want to butcher the name. I think it's Cherry Gelato, but hold on a second, because I don't want to fuck this up, because I've been wanting to talk about this one for a while now. Can you all still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's outside because, mom life. Oh shit, I just tripped. Told you. Told you I'm an accident prone. Okay, it is Cherry Gelato. Okay,
Cherry
so I was
Gelato.
right.
You did remember correctly.
Cherry Gelato, and it's okay. I usually buy 2 strains, but the deal was so great. I got like 14 grams, and so I decided to just opt for this one. And I was like, God, please just work for me. I usually get 2 strains because when I smoke one, I get too used to it, and I have to switch to the other one and go back and forth that week. But I read about the strain, and I think it was like a 5-star rating or close to it online, and I was like, well, I'll be damned. So, yep, not lying. They were not lying. It's a good strain. So if you need something that's for anxiety and you still don't want to be like sleepy, I have been snacking a lot, but who fucking cares? It's just, it feels good to not have anxiety. You know, my friend told me today, oh God, I just really love her so much. But she was like, Jesse, I just realized today that I am going to be fat for the rest of my life. And I'm fine with that. And I'm happy. And it's just who I am. And I was like, and I am going to love every inch of you, no matter what size you are.
Yes.
And I think that we need to like have that grace for ourselves. Like who we are is who we are, and we cannot put so much anxiety. We put so much anxiety on our bodies and our weight, and I hope that that's like changes in the next few years. I hope as a mother of daughters that I can change that trajectory. You know, I was an overweight child. I used food as a coping mechanism until I found drugs and alcohol. And my mom had me on like Slim Fast when I was 13. She had me dieting in middle school. So it has been a journey. It has been a journey for me. And there's things that a lot of my freaking friends don't know about my life. And, you know, it is what it is. But that's why I'm such an advocate for mental health. And I'm such an advocate for cannabis, because those two really saved me and get my health back into my hands.
All helpful.
So I know, sorry, it's a heavy topic. It's probably why I don't talk about it online very often. And, you know, my mom's still alive, and she was in that culture of like Jane Fonda and cocaine. And obviously, you know, like, not that she was doing cocaine when she had me, but before having me, absolutely. Absolutely. So, you know, they were skinny minis and all hopped up on amphetamines, and they thought that that was the normal lifestyle. Well, if everyone's on amphetamines and working out like fucking crazy, of course everyone's going to be fit. Like, obviously. So yeah, I'd rather just love myself for who I am. And I had to have that conversation with my mom when I was postpartum with Hazel, and I was getting close to my biggest point, and she was just like crying and was like upset, like just to see me like, I guess, big again. I guess it upset her. Whatever, fuck it, I don't fucking care. Fucking never did it for her to begin with, and I never will. And I told her that. I said, Mom, I'm sorry, but I'm so happy right now with who I am, and I'm sorry that you can't be happy for who I am right now.
That's the saddest part, like when family and friends treat you differently just because you become heavier. It's really strange. And then when you lose the weight, they're like, oh my God. And they're so happy for you.
Yeah, they're acting
and they're
like...
And it's like, well, why weren't you happy for me
yeah,
before?
hey,
Did
listen.
you not think I was happy?
Don't even get me started on the topic, because I was just about to tell you that other day, just to give you an idea of my situation, my relationship with weight, I had gotten like food poisoning. And then I had seen my mom on the weekend, and she said in Spanish, she said, basically, oh, hey, that food poisoning did you well. It looks like you lost a few pounds, which, like, I mean, that just to give you the idea of the kinds of shit I've grown up with in terms of like weight and stuff. And I was just like, God damn, lady, seriously? Like, oh, what the fuck? Why? Like, really? Are you listening to yourself?
Even in our adult age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if that's like this now, like, yeah, when you were like, oh, that your mom had you on Slim Fast, I remember when they would wake me up and try to get me to do like Disney kids exercise shit. For Christmas, I got the Get in Shape Girl kit. You remember Get in Shape Girl? It was like a kit of barbells with like the headbands and like the leg warmers.
God, really?
And the tape with the instruction guide on the exercises that you can do. Yeah, for real.
Diet culture was
Like,
so
take a
fucked
hint,
up
like-
for us. Like, I just want to give like a
Like, oh,
collective
man.
hug to just everybody listening right now. Holy fuck, like, no wonders we are so fucking messed up.
It's just beautiful to see that now they're way more accepting of all body types. Like, even when you're in the store, I see
yeah.
larger mannequins.
Yeah.
Like, and I see
yeah.
larger women in advertisements for clothes and stuff, and they're beautiful. And it's just like, what we grew up with.
Yeah, it was
completely
fucking Kate
different.
Moss. Kate Moss and
Yeah.
fucking
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Low-rise
No wonder.
jeans with
Oh my God.
no stomachs, completely flat
Yeah.
stomachs, like skinny.
For
No, no,
sure,
no.
for sure. I mean, yeah, it's insane. It's insane. But it's good to see that there's something happening. Like Lizzo too. I love Lizzo. She is like, to
Yeah,
me,
oh
I'm
God,
like,
yes. Can we talk about her too?
yes.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
yes.
That's why this is why I have two other girlfriends of mine, and we're in the theater together. We do theater stuff together, and we have had like a crazy weight journey, us three, and we constantly like, weight is like a major component in our life. So I'm trying to get them to do a podcast, but one of them is kind of in denial because she's doesn't like to be fat. You know what I'm saying? So because we were like, me and my other friend, like, well, we don't want to promote diet culture, but we also want to be realistic about it. And then so the other friend who's kind of hesitant is just like, I'm struggling because I don't want to be happy being fat because I'm not happy. So I don't want to like pretend that I'm, body positivity when I'm like not happy. So it's like a struggle, but I think it's
yes,
such a
yes,
good
that's true,
conversation
too.
to
You can
have.
be fat and happy and fat and unhappy for sure.
But she
Right.
can be that voice.
Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to kind of convince, because the thing is two people that are trying, I see people who are so good and I feel like they should be creating content online so that they're more accessible. Their art is more accessible, but there's a disconnect with like a niche you have to have. And I feel like people get stuck in the idea of like, you have to be boxed into a niche. And that's not necessarily true. A niche is a starting point for what the first community you want to hit and who you want to target first, who's the most relatable to you. And then you want to branch out from there because there's more aspects to your life than just that one thing. Mm-hmm. Cannabis is not just the thing. Cannabis is a starting point for us. We love weed, and this is why we talk about the most, but it's a branching point because we're also moms, but that we don't want to get stuck in just being moms. So who else are we? We are creators. We do other things. It's just like,
Dang. This is such a freaking great conversation, man. Oh,
yeah, and weight
I
is
love
very
you both
emotional.
right now.
weight conversations are very emotional, and that's why I feel like I understand someone who'd be hesitant in talking about it, because it's vulnerable. You open yourself up and there's a facade that we put. I want people to come to Pot Smoking Moms to have a good time. But I also want them to know that there is a realistic part to us. There is a life going on. So we can't constantly be like, showtime, like it's just kind of like we got to be real about it, but we don't want to be a burden. So it's hard because you don't want to be real about what you're going through because you don't want to burden the people who you're trying to give like you're trying to harbor, right? Because you're trying to be positive for everybody, but it's struggling because inside you're just like, oh, fucking, I don't want to be sunshine and sparkles all the time because it's just not how it is. But I don't want people to be like worried about me.
That's the thing is, oh my God, there's nothing worse than when I say that I have like depression, my friends are like, I'm worried about you. I'm like, this does not help. Like, please don't worry about me. I worry about myself for all of it.
It's like, doesn't it suck when you're like crying, or you're about to cry, and then somebody comes up to you and you're like, oh my God, what's wrong? And then it's like, then you start to fucking break down because you're just like, ugh, that's the breaking point. Like somebody going,
People ask me what's wrong. That is like my least favorite question.
I know. And that was the Mommy Jane. You can find her on Instagram at the Mommy Jane. Her website's themommyjane.com. She also works with a wonderful group, Tokativity. You can find her at tokativity.com / is that / or backsplash? Backsplash. Okay. Tokativity.com / the Mommy Jane. And then she has a bunch of wonderful things. I love her lives too. So please definitely check her out. Thanks for sticking with us and listening to us. We know you have plenty of options to choose from when it comes to podcasts. So we appreciate that you take the time to hang out with us and sesh with us and get up to speed with cannabis stuff with us. With special thanks to our sponsors, as always. You really make it work for us. You help us, and we love your support. Yanni Reyes, Destiny Adams, Lauren Hansel, Jesse Reyes, Christy Rodriguez, April Collins, Terry Grimsley, Shelby Gleckler, and Denise Caceres. We love you.
Love you guys.
Thank you guys for listening. We love you too. Hit us up on our on our social medias. I need to get some sleep.
Instagram.
Do you have the trick, Daddy, to play us out?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, I won't have an ad read. Do I just press play?
I don't know what you do.
It's the video.
Should have gotten
It
like
has an
an
intro.
area with
Yeah.
Right, let's take it to the house.
What happened? You told me to take it to the house. Is this not it?
You know what? Bad idea.
This was an awful idea.
We'll scratch this. Here's the theme song, guys.